Bryan. Say hi.
Hello.
And he is going to video while I can green beans today. So let's see how good of a cameraman he is. Okay, so I already snapped all these beans. So we're gonna take and rinse them, and then we're gonna put them in our jars, which I haven't pulled out yet, but I will. So I'm just taking these and putting them in a strainer. Can they see the strainer in the sink?
I think, yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to put these in the strainer, as many as will fit, and then I'm going to rinse those before I put them in our jar. Alright, so I have everything set up already. I have my pressure canner with water in it. Read your manual to know how much water to put in your pressure canner. I have my hot water that I'm going to be putting in the jars here. I just pulled my jars out of the dishwasher. I have my lids in water back here just warming up. And I already put my green beans in the strainer. And I just rinse them really good. And then we're just going to start putting these in jars. I also add a little bit of salt. That's optional. You don't have to add salt. So I just use my hands, they're clean. And then you just add it till you have about an inch head space. And then we'll start adding the water once I get several of these jars. So I'm just gonna sit and fill these up. And then we'll come back once these are filled and we'll go over how I put in the water and salt. And we'll see you soon. Okay, so now I'm gonna take and put salt into each container, and I'm just putting a half teaspoon since I'm only doing pint-sized jars. If you're doing quart and you're going to put salt in, I would recommend a whole teaspoon, or you can leave the salt out if that's what you prefer. And then I will pressure can this once it reaches 10 pounds of pressure for 10 minutes, which I'm sure I will say again, but I did forget to say at the beginning. Make sure you subscribe and press the bell so you get notifications of any new videos that we do. Now I can say we because I got a cameraman now. His brother's going to do the next video that I do when they're here, so they'll be taking turns. So green beans are relatively easy to do. A lot of people don't because they're afraid of pressure canners. Don't be afraid, they're not that bad, I promise. I have two now, which makes the process so much easier. So now I'm going to take one of my measuring cups and get the hot water. I have it boiling. This is called the cold pack method because the veggies are cold when they go in the jar. I just got the jars out of the microwave, but dishwasher, so they should be pretty good. You leave an inch headspace. So right at the bottom of this where your rings start. And then we're going to take, we'll go ahead and pour that in there. Then we're going to take, as soon as I find it, this little thing. It can't be metal because you'll scratch your jars and that will make them bust. And then you push this down in here and this gets out any air bubbles so you know if you need to add any more water or not. So I'm going to do that to all these jars, wipe down the rims, start adding my lids, and then we'll be getting them in the pressure canner. This I already have on like low, so it will be hot, so I'm not putting a hot jar in cold water because we don't want it to bust. As this water level gets low, I will take this pitcher over here and fill it up with water and add to it as we go. That way my water stays hot and I don't run out and then have to wait on it to warm up. So I can get about 18 jars in this canner, which is what I'm doing now, and then I'll move on to the next batch once I get these in, and then we will be done.
Yep.
Now? Okay. So when I've already gone through and taken all the air bubbles out, so there's a few that I need to add a little bit of water. Another way to gauge an inch at the bottom of your funnel where that is, that represents an H headspace. So most of these are good. Some of them I need to top off just a little. And like I said, different fruits and veggies require different headspaces. It gives it room to expand and grow, because you don't want to pop in the top off of your lid or making it dent to where, and then it won't seal. So now that all of these are good, I'm going to take and wipe off all the rims, and then I'm going to take my wand and take my lids and put them on top. But you have to wipe them off first, because if there's anything on top, it won't get a good seal. And then you're back at square one having to reprocess and reseal. So I'm gonna do that to all of these. And then, sorry, I'm gonna put all my lids on. Remember, finger tightness. You don't wanna tighten too tight, just enough so it holds that band on. And then we're gonna put them in the canner, and we'll come back when we're ready to put them in the canner, and I will show you how I do that. Okay, so I'm gonna put these 18 jars, and it says it'll fit 20. I can never get it to fit 20. Can you see down in the pot? You have to have one of these at the bottom of your canning. I don't care if it's water bath or pressure canner. You can't set the jars directly on the pan, the bottom, because it will bust your jars. So that will come with your pressure canner. I ended up buying another one, because if you can with pint sized jars, you can double stack them, which I'm about to show you here in a second as soon as I get these in. So I fit 9 in the bottom, and then I put another rack in, and then I can stack 9 more on top of that. And then once I get those on, I grab the lid and we just seal it up. Now I'm going to turn my heat up a little bit. This needs to vent without, I don't know what you call this thing, I call it a jiggler. It has to vent for 10 minutes before I put this on. Then when I put that on and it gets up to 10 pounds of pressure, then I can start timing it. And from that point it's 25 minutes, and then you shut off the heat and let it come down to pressure, and you take them out. So while this starts to come up to pressure, I'm going to take my hot water. This should be enough for my next 18 jars, and I'm going to go ahead and get them assembled and ready to go and get that canner on. So I'm going to move this pot and move this canner over where that pot is and start our second batch. We'll be back. Okay, so this one is up to pressure, actually beyond, but I have it on low, so it'll be good. It has a little less than 14 minutes left. This one is trying to pop up, which means it'll start building pressure. So when that happens and it reaches 10 pounds of pressure, I can start my second timer for 25 minutes. And then once it depressurizes, and you know it's depressurized completely, when this is flat like this one, and then you can actually remove the lid. It's a safety feature, so the lid won't blow off, hopefully. That's why you have to keep an eye on your gauge. And actually this is called a weight. So again, I need 10 pounds of pressure for my altitude. Make sure you adjust for your altitude if you're higher than I am. I'm in New Hampshire, so where I'm at, we're pretty close to sea level, so I don't need to increase my pressure. But just your manual should state it, or you can look online.